So today what we're going to be doing is answering the question of if Bitcoin is going through its bubble right now. And in my honest opinion, I think that there is enough information behind what's currently happening. So what we're going to be doing is sharing the important pieces of information, a few news articles, some technical analysis data in this video for you to help you understand a bit more about where Bitcoin is going to be going over the next couple of weeks, months. And obviously, this is my personal opinion, but a lot of this information is up there for you to have a look at. So I'm going to link it down below in the description as well. Something else I also need to say to you is I've uploaded a few videos about Bitcoin before. So let me just quickly go on to my YouTube channel. You can basically see one of the first videos that I have available is talking about what is Bitcoin, a trader's opinion. You can see it on the right-hand side there. That is a pretty important video to watch. And then the next very important video to watch is over here talking about, is Bitcoin a good investment? Those are two videos that I did. They're pretty nice videos. Make sure to have a look at those because that's going to be some important information you can have a look at. Also, make sure to click in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen just to subscribe if you want to keep updated on all of the new videos that I'm coming out with, educational content coming out every single week. Once again, let's get to it. So basically this week, the second week of January, has been quite a serious week for Bitcoin. Going into December of 2017, there was quite a serious amount of volatility that was occurring. The topics across Bitcoin were dropping off rapidly throughout news and search engines. And then the most important one, Bitcoin lost its value by nearly 47.5% in a single week. Now, this followed just after Litecoin founder cashed out his entire holdings in the cryptocurrency of Litecoin, not Bitcoin, but the cryptocurrency of Litecoin. On Saturday evening, he cashed out entire holdings. The following week, Bitcoin dropped by over 47%, and other cryptocurrencies took a massive hit. Going into the rest of December, even though the cryptocurrency recovered quite well, which I can actually show you up on the charts here. So as you can see here, basically what occurred was back in sort of December in this region here, we hit the highest levels, sort of just pushing on $20,000 a coin. And we had a massive sell-off in that week, moving all the way down to just touching on $10,000 a coin. There was a massive spike moving down. Now this happened in a single week. And as you can see, there was quite a good recovery. There was a recovery back sort of halfway within that range. But now there's been a slow sort of sell-off and a fade-off. And this has occurred mainly because there's been some pretty, how would I call it, pretty damaging news coming out from China, South Korea. But the biggest problem about this news is that South Korea and China are two of the biggest cryptocurrency trading and mining centers in the world. Now, the US is obviously a big competitor in cryptocurrencies, but not necessarily in the mining section of it. And the problem is the underlying value behind a lot to do with cryptocurrencies has to do with the mining of the cryptocurrency. Now, what I'm going to share with you is some pretty vital articles that you need to go through to help consider a little bit more about if we can call this the Bitcoin bubble right now. So most of these articles I'm going to make sure once again are listed down below in chronological order, and I've also made sure that these articles are verified as well, so we're using really good news outlet sources. Not going to use CNN or any other news sources on it, but you'll see that these are some pretty good news sources, but it's some pretty worrying information. And I'm going to walk you through this information a little bit to just help explain a bit more about what the articles are truly saying. So what recently coming out on the 11th of January, so the 11th of January is today, South Korea plans to actually ban cryptocurrency trading in South Korea itself. Now, they are targeting the most popular cryptocurrencies, so they'll be targeting Bitcoin, Ethereum, they might even go for targeting Litecoin and a few of the other altcurrencies. But the problem is that South Korea has seen that there's been a major impact to the people of South Korea who are actually trading cryptocurrencies and trading Bitcoin. Now, for South Korea, we don't usually hear a major amount about what happens there, but cryptocurrency trading has become an absolute mania. It's even gone as far as they have been able to identify trends that consumers are borrowing thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, even borrowing out on the surety of their own homes to be able to buy and own the cryptocurrency. Obviously, this can contribute to increasing inflation a huge amount, increasing credit spending a massive amount, and it's putting consumers at risk in South Korea, because the problem is that the cryptocurrency itself, Bitcoin itself, is not necessarily a completely stable and regulated currency. But now you have consumers in South Korea, everyday people, risking a great deal of their net worth and their capital into trying to invest in Bitcoin or even own Bitcoin. Now, they see this as a massive economic risk, and South Korea has always been known to be incredibly conservative with their approach towards money, expenses, credit, everything to do with the financial regulation of financial industry. And a massive part that they did say that they do not appreciate is the fact that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are difficult to regulate, are difficult to move around, and they don't necessarily accept it right now. So the problem is that even though they are planning to ban cryptocurrency trading, it's pretty much the cat's in the bag, because once they go for this, once they start releasing articles, and they continue to release articles, this is what's going to create a lot of damage and a lot of insecurity to the cryptocurrency, but on top of it, it's going to help push the price down quite a lot. So what you can also do is have a read through this article, very nice article from Reuters. There's also a video just addressing it, about a minute-long video, but just talking about they basically are going to require a majority of votes of 297 members of the National Assembly, and this process could even take months to years. But the problem is this is already a strong setup for the large cryptocurrency traders and miners to already know that they're on unstable ground. Now, the problem is that you're going to see that the National Assembly, the government itself, is going to find alternate ways to try and hold people off from cryptocurrencies until they can actually pass these certain laws. But obviously, if there is an aggressive move and they can see that cryptocurrencies actually are damaging South Korean consumers, they'll immediately move to have some sort of referendum put in place to partially ban it, or try and put a temporary ban on cryptocurrency trading until such point as they can pass the right bills. So that's also a massive risk there. If cryptocurrencies become too extreme for them to handle, they will immediately ban it. The next one is a very similar article from CNBC, different points of views for both articles, so I'd like you to read both of them, but also talking about the cryptocurrency ban and just talking about things to do with pricing and the discussions involved in that. So also make sure to have a look at that article as well. Now, the next biggest one is China has also started to step into this. So back in September, China launched massive investigations into cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. Now, China is the biggest Bitcoin miner on the planet and also the biggest cryptocurrency miner on the planet as well. Now, a massive problem that they've noticed is that cryptocurrencies and mining the cryptocurrencies take a massive amount of electricity. And I'm not talking small amounts of electricity. I'm talking up to millions and millions of households worth of their electricity that they're using to mine these cryptocurrencies. Now, obviously, this is, not bad. China has one of the cheapest electricity prices in the world, just after India. But the problem is that China, over the past 5 years, has been battling a massive, massive push against becoming more economic, more eco-friendly, and trying to remove pollution from China. If anyone knows, if anyone's traveled to China back sort of 2 to 3 years ago, there was so much smog and so much smoke in the atmosphere that you could barely see into the sky throughout the day. There would be a massive layer of smog laying over most of China and most of the major metropolitans. Now, because they've implemented such massive regulations to reduce the amount of coal use, reduce the amount of electrical use, and create cleaner energy, they have been able to clear up almost all of that smog, and China looks like a completely different place. Now, this article is talking about how China is going to start stepping in to limit power for Bitcoin miners. Now, the biggest problem is that this article is released on the 4th of January. And going into 2018 and 2017, China has been releasing certain small pieces of articles talking about investigation, creating different types of regulation around Bitcoin itself and around cryptocurrencies to help reduce the ease of access and try and sort of pull people away from using cryptocurrencies. The big problem was back in September when they had the ICO ban. That was a massive hit to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But this article was also a massive ban, because this is going to limit how Bitcoin miners and cryptocurrency miners are able to actually produce an income and produce the Bitcoin itself. So moving on to the next article, which was posted out on January 9th, it was a very interesting article talking about how China is actually already starting to step in and shut down certain Bitcoin mines. The problem is that they are going to make it so difficult for these Bitcoin mines to actually continue to operate and continue to make money. They'll slowly but surely start pushing these Bitcoin mines out of China. Now, in the articles about banning cryptocurrency trading in South Korea, they've already mentioned that certain people are thinking of going over to Japan to go and trade cryptocurrencies in that area. Now, China, they've already said that they want to start banning and moving Bitcoin mining out of China. They don't want it to be there. They feel it's not regulated yet, and they feel that they need to find a way to get it out of China. The next one is obviously saying, well, where are these Bitcoin miners going to go? You know, where else can they go to be able to mine these cryptocurrencies? Two articles that have been posted out recently from CoinDesk have basically spoken about how Quebec is trying to lure cryptocurrency miners as China soars in the industry. And it's talking more specifically about how they are trying to find a way to get the cryptocurrency miners to move towards their area and try and sort of foster the cryptocurrency area and the Bitcoin area. And Europe has been known to do this. There are certain countries like Sweden and Switzerland who are promoting the use and the mining of Bitcoin. But here's a big problem. So here's another one where they're talking about how Sweden and Europe is looking to try and pull more Bitcoin miners from China and from the Asian area into the European area. But here's the biggest problem, and it's about the electricity prices. So the problem about Bitcoin itself and cryptocurrencies is physically mining it costs a massive amount of money. The cost of electricity is huge, and the use of electricity is even bigger. And as cryptocurrencies become more difficult to mine, the use of electricity goes up. So as you can see here, China and India sit almost right on the bottom of the list for cost in electricity. But the European countries are sitting almost at the top of the list. And this is a major problem, because not only do these countries actually have incredibly expensive electrical prices, they also don't have enough production size to be able to cater for such high levels of electrical use. Now, this is obviously not going to be like they can't even accept it, they won't turn the lights on for these Bitcoin miners. But what I'm trying to say is the Bitcoin miners are going to assess this as a massive risk. They're going to assess it as given, okay, well, China is trying to push us out because we're using too much of their electricity. Now, if they go over to Europe, what do you think the Europeans are going to say as well? That could also be a major challenge. Now, on top of it, another problem is cost. Now, there are certain Bitcoin mining news releases that have come out basically saying that they can mine it at much cheaper prices, much more expensive electrical rates, all those sorts of things, which we have to trust their opinion on that. But what the major problem is, when you look at the cost involved, they could nearly 2 times to 3 times their electrical expenses just by moving to a European country. Now, those are the biggest problems. Now, in terms of where I feel Bitcoin could go as a currency, we would have to have a look at the charts here. So like I said to you, we had this massive spike up, this massive move up to nearly $20,000 a coin. We had a massive spike back down to 10,000, and then we sort of had this slow recovery. Now, please make sure to go and watch that last Bitcoin video I spoke to you about. Very, very important video. It's going to talk to you exactly about what these major moves in the Bitcoin price actually mean. But the big problem is that we're kind of testing this level of $13,000 a coin on this level here for the Bitcoin chart. And as you can see, we've sort of had a break below here, another test, another test. So what we could obviously see here is this could become a very strong support level, or for some unapparent reason, we could have price moving even lower. So we could move even into the $11,000 levels, which you can see was shown as a strong support level here, and a strong resistance level here that it broke out from back in December. Or we could even see price move down to $10,000 coin, back to where it spiked below. So basically what we have to say to ourselves here is the news coming out is not necessarily positive. There's no major information coming out about Bitcoin, expanding looking at regulation, looking at policy, finding ways to improve. And the popularity of Bitcoin has dropped off going into 2018, mainly because the price of it has dropped off. So now when popularity has been driving the price up, how are we going to get the popularity of Bitcoin back into the market? Now, the problem is that if there is too much negative news, the scales kind of begin to tip and the scales turn negative. Now, in terms of the bubble popping, now this is a big problem that I think a lot of people have not actually assessed. If I say to you the Bitcoin bubble is going to pop, I don't necessarily mean that the price is going to, go from $20,000 a coin to zero. No one's going to trade it. It's going to be absolutely zero value. Like I've said in my previous videos, I feel Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchain have an incredible amount of merit and could very easily become a way that we transact in the future. Now, do I think that we're ready for it right now? Not necessarily. Like I said in the previous videos, I feel we need a lot more regulation. We need policymakers to accept Bitcoin a lot more. And we need to find a way to be able to transact it a lot easier and also educate the community about healthy ways to use Bitcoin. But until such points as we get to that point, we can't necessarily accept Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency that we can just put all of our investment into, expecting that it is going to mature. That's unfortunately a very wild accusation we can make. Do I think the Bitcoin bubble is popping? Look, I think these articles are a very valid reasoning behind why the price could move a lot lower. Could the price move to 11,000? Could it move to 10? I don't know, but what I do think for myself is that I'm going to stay out of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies until such point as there's more regulation, more competition, and more innovation. Once again, everyone, like I said to you, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel because we have weekly content coming out that is about trading, investing, and wealth management. But once again, thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers for now.